Welcome, boys and girls. This is Axiom, aka Ryofu, and this is the Gaming Harbinger. Today we are going to talk about Dead or Alive 6. And just so you are aware, I am a fan of Dead or Alive. I've been playing for many, many years. I believe I started with Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore, which came out on the PlayStation 2. Now, we are going to talk about just about everything Dead or Alive related I can think of in regards to this game. So we will discuss the fan service. We will discuss fan reaction to the stupid season pass. We're going to discuss the online components, what's missing, what is in the game, is it worth it, will fans love it? We're going to answer all that in this video. Please subscribe, please send a like, please send your love and your hate to me. I would greatly appreciate it. So the first thing I want to start with is, real quickly, I do want to talk about the fan service, and I promise you guys I won't stay on this for too long. And the reason why I'm not going to stay on this too long is because it's been regurgitated so many times, and at this point it's just old. Especially as fans, we're tired of that being the subject of the conversation constantly. Instead of just, is the game good? Does it control well? Is it fun? Does it run smoothly? Let's get to some of that first. But there's always got to be a disclaimer that I don't normally play games like this, and the boobs are just it's just like, come on, and to be honest with you, if you found Dead or Alive 1 offensive, don't play it. If you found Dead or Alive 2 offensive, don't play it. If you found Dead or Alive 3 offensive, don't play it. Don't play it. Here's the thing. I am actually under the belief that I am not cut from the cloth that, trying to rationalize or debate with people about what they should and should not find offensive. If it offends you, it offends you. And I'm not going to try to, force my version or my reality of life into your world. But my thing is, don't try to force that onto me either. So you just be on your way and don't look back, and we'll be fine. You'll be fine. Clearly, you won't miss this game, and clearly, I won't miss you. Just saying. Okay, so next what I wanted to talk about was the new features that will be in Dead or Alive 6, because there are a few new things. And let's start with some of the more obvious things that you're probably already aware of. The slow-mo you've seen whenever characters get hit, and then it zooms in on their face, and you can see bruises, you see blood, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty badass looking. What I like about this is if, let's say, their hair is in a nice little bun or something, if you whack them in the face during this, then it'll make their hair come undone. Or if they have glasses or shades, that those shades go flying in the air. If they have a mask, like Hayabusa, for example, you will actually break the mask off, and then you'll reveal their face. Pretty cool stuff. And most of the time this will happen when you're doing a fatal rush with the full meter. But I'm going to come back to that in a second. But first, let's go back to this whole thing of, just the noticeable, the visible stuff. One of the other things I noticed, which this is a little more out of my area of expertise, but and if you want to know more detailed stuff about this, I just recommend you looking at other YouTubers that are more fighter game related content, because I'm kind of all over the place and I only know a little bit of this information. But if, let's say, you're fighting someone and then you get knocked against the wall, what would normally happen is, after you get knocked one time, you could probably, the other person could go to whack you a few more times and then you would go down. Or you could get knocked in the air and then they could juggle you some, and then that would be the end of it. Well, it appears in this game it's going to be like you're whacked against the wall, and there will be a moment where you will stand up instead of just fall to the ground, which is interesting because that means actually one of two things. One, if you're, the person that's doing the ass kicking, that means you have an opportunity to restart your combo all over again and continuously hit them. But the other part of this is, if you're the person that's getting your ass kicked and you get knocked against the wall, but then your character stands, you have one last opportunity to counter, which is beautiful. Which that can make things very interesting. So if you're good enough, you can pull yourself out of that situation, or use a fatal reversal, and that could really help you out and save you. Or like I said, or if you're on the offensive, it could just make you really deal even more damage to your opponent. And a very subtle difference and an interesting choice, but nonetheless, I wanted to mention that because I did find that interesting too. Some of the more obvious new mechanics are the Fatal Rush, which I mentioned earlier, and it's pretty much supposed to be like a beginner-friendly mechanic that you press one button and then you're pretty much doing a combo. It sounds slightly different than other attacks, like it has a little to it, and to some ways I think I can see, like, if someone was doing that move, they're like, oh shit, I'm really kicking ass now. It has a little more oomph to it, but it actually doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it can get you out of some situations. I would say it reminds me of a similar mechanic in the Persona fighting games. I'm pretty sure there's another fighter or two out there that have incorporated this concept as well, but I first saw it in the Persona fighting games, where you could press one button and you would do a combo, a basic combo. And you also have a break gauge that you charge up while you're doing attacks. And then if you have that meter at full, then and let's say you go for the Fatal Rush again, then what you'll do is you'll do a move that's similar to the Critical Blow in Dead or Alive 5, if you remember that, which that move was, pretty much like I guess you would say equivalent to a super move in Dead or Alive, and it would do a kind of a slow-mo thing too, and it looked pretty cool for its time. But the other thing is, you could choose to use the Fatal Rush that way, wait till it's fully charged, use it to, do that super move and get your slow-mo Hollywood thing going, or you could use it for when going back to the whole getting knocked up against the wall thing, use it there, use a fatal reversal, and then that stuns them, and now you're behind them and their backs turned towards you, which is, is going to make things really interesting. Definitely. Really interesting. Really good stuff. There's plenty here to kind of shake things up in the game, and like I said, hopefully make things a little more welcoming to newcomers. In regards to the graphics in this game, you won't be disappointed. Well, to some extent you won't be disappointed. And it's because you have two options as far as playing on the Xbox One X version or playing on the PlayStation 4 Pro version. You have a choice between frame rate or prioritizing the graphics. If you prioritize the graphics, this is pretty much intended for the 4K version, higher fidelity and whatnot. You can see a lot of details, the embers in the air, just paper being blown around. You just see everything heightened, and even details on the clothes that the characters wear, all that little stuff. It looks great. However, Unfortunately, it doesn't run buttery smooth like the prioritized frame rate version works. So for this game, unfortunately, it's just, I don't know if you could play the game this way. If it wasn't a fighting game, you possibly could get away with it. But for this kind of game that's fast paced, I wouldn't recommend it. But I mean, you should turn it on for the hell of it, because I mean, the shit looks pretty. It really does. They did a good job. And frame rate version runs at 1080p, and it looks smooth. It takes away some of those higher fidelity things, and it still looks good. It looks solid, and it looks better than Dead or Alive 5. But like I said, you are missing those fine details, and it's noticeable. But like I said, for the game to run smoothly, it's probably the choice you're going to have to take. And I just want to mention this real quick before I get off of the graphics, and that is Digital Foundry did a story on Dead or Alive 6. Shout out to them to, even considering doing Dead or Alive. And I just want to mention this, and I'm sorry I don't have exactly at what point the video was said. And I'm paraphrasing, so don't hold me word for word verbatim what they said. But it was something along the lines of, there was a point in time back in the day, Dead or Alive was, kind of pushing the boundaries in terms of graphics and fighting games. And I thought about it for a second, and that's true. That's exactly what it was back in the day. The days when we were reading magazines and not looking at stuff online. It holds very true. And I mean, you just have to give them some credit where credit's due. I think it's only fair that, that we got to give them some air horns, baby. We got to. I mean, they just don't get the praise that they deserve, because of other things going on with the game. But Dead or Alive as a whole, it's been scrutinized for a while, and I just want to shed light on some of those things that it's done great over the years. So I know everyone's gonna like this part of the video, and that is the story. Okay, so I'm gonna just put it out here, just to let you know, spoiler alert. The weakest part in Dead or Alive is absolutely the story. Dead or Alive Dimensions, ironically, on the 3DS, we kind of took trying to create, a complete package for the story. And then 5 and 6, they said, let's just have fun. Let's just have fun with this. And so when you look at the stories for Dead or Alive 6, it's just, I don't know. It's a little convoluted, but at the same time, I think it's meant to be lighthearted. And this part, I'm being a little biased. I think it's fun. I think it's fun, and I think it's fine. Let's just have fun with it at the end of the day. So, yeah, I find it amusing seeing Marie Rose trying to hold back Hayate, It's amusing. It's amusing. But, yeah. I really don't even have much to say on the story, and what would be the point of me even ruining it for you? So just find out for yourself. And I mean, you're not going into Dead or Alive for that. Let's just be honest. Come on. I'm gonna get this out of the way. I'm gonna try not to wild out on you guys. But seriously, one of the things that I hear people complain the most about is this $93 season pass. I'm gonna try to make this as simple as can be, but it's their mistake. At first I was getting very agitated with, not fans clearly, but people that don't even like Dead or Alive complaining about the season pass. Let's be clear here. People that don't play Dead or Alive are complaining about a season pass for a game they were never interested in, and saying, see, this is what they're doing to the consumer, the poor little consumer. They're ripping us off. Look how they're screwing us over. They're charging so much money for a season pass. I will say this, Tecmo did screw up on the name. They should not have called it a season pass, because it is not a season pass. It really isn't. Of course, us that played Dead or Alive 5, we are well aware that when they did the season pass for Dead or Alive 5, it was nothing but costumes. There's nothing gameplay wise that was tucked away due to a season pass. Nothing. This isn't Call of Duty. This isn't Battlefield. There's no, this isn't the Taken King. You know what I mean? There's nothing hidden, behind a season pass. But it's their mistake for naming it as such. They should have said the Super Ultimate Sexy Bundle or something. And that way people would have said, oh, it's just for a bunch of costumes. If you're that, if you're that creepy of a person, then you would buy all these freaking costumes. What a loser. Then they could have said that, and that would have been the end of that. Because I don't think this was as big of an issue last year. I know there were people complaining about it. I totally am aware of that. But I'm hearing way more about it now than I did back then. And, I mean, I laughed about it with my friends, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty nuts. I didn't know that they were going to take it this far, And I'm talking about last year. Not last year, but with the last game, I was like, I did not realize they were going to take it this far. Because originally, I think I might have bought like the first bundle. It might have been just 2 costumes for all the characters. And then it came another one, and then another one, and then another one. I'm like, no, I'm not getting all these. That's ridiculous. I don't know if it's my age or what, but sometimes I just feel like people like to find things to complain about. This is a totally cosmetic thing, a totally optional thing. You do not need this. But yet some people are complaining that what happened to unlocking stuff in games? You don't do that anymore? Now they gotta charge you separate? I mean, this is super cosmetic. There actually, to be fair, there's only one thing in Dead or Alive that was left out. And I'm actually, to be honest with you, they totally need to add it. I think they said they were going to add it, but I'm not 100% on that. And that is tag battle. They do need tag battle, because let's keep it real. And I'm going to say it. Yeah, sorry. Dead or Alive has the best tag battle. There it is. I said it. Deal with it. And yeah, they took it away. But they claimed the reason was to, enhance and just make sure that the single battles are just a tight, intense experience. And I respect that, because the game does play damn good. I'm very pleased with it, and the new features and stuff they added, it does run smoothly. But it would be great. It would be great if they could just add tag battle back in, even if it's like 2 months later or whatever. And they said, yeah, we had to add this in later. Sorry about it, guys, or whatever. That would be great. Now, if they decide to charge us $40 or $30 to add tag battle, then okay, you have a good argument there, and I think that's pretty messed up. If they don't add it in at all, I don't know how I feel about that. It's a little weird. I think they should keep it in, because tag is super cool. Super cool. I like how you get 2 people that are cool with each other or clicky with each other, and then they kind of, their intro to the fight, or the end of the fight, their victory poses and stuff. I liked when they did shit like that. I thought it was really cool. Much cooler than Tekken's. I'm just kidding. Come on, I had to throw a joke in there. Come on. But anyways, yeah. Not only that, but you really shouldn't worry about this season pass, because I took it upon myself to go on Xbox Live, look at the description of the season pass, and it says on there, plain and simple, that eventually all the stuff that's in the season pass will be sold separately. And they even say something like, don't make redundant orders. Interesting choice of words, but nonetheless, implying if you buy the season pass and then they sell an individual costume be careful because you might end up buying a costume that you've already paid for. Which makes sense because this is pretty much what they did with Dead or Alive 5. And like I said, everyone's acting like it's a new thing or it's really something to be outraged about. You don't need this. You don't have to have it. I'll say it one more time. You don't have to buy the season pass if you don't want to. There's no actual gameplay that's being locked away. There's no game mode that's being locked away. And I'm saying this from the effing description in the store. So, yeah, you're fine. Now, if later on we find out about tag mode being locked away because they're like, yeah, you need to buy the season pass, or yeah, you need to pay $30 for this, yeah, that'll be a little messed up. And because I believe tag mode is pretty fun, so it'll be messed up if they try to paywall that. But yeah, I think the whole season pass thing is just really, really ridiculous. I think a lot of people just see $93 season pass and they fucking lose it. That's really what this is. They don't even realize that it's cosmetic. They just hear season pass instead of super ultimate costume sexy bundle or whatever. I also wanted to add this part that recently surfaced upon recording this video, and I felt like I needed to, add this segment into the video because this just recently happened, and that is the core, aka the free-to-play model for Dead or Alive 6 just dropped. So now, if you're interested in checking out Dead or Alive 6, you can download it for free and get 4 characters, Kasumi, Hitomi, Diego, and Bass. So you get those 4 characters for free. If you want to add just like one character, it is $3.99. And if you feel like, oh, I only want the dudes, $33.99. And if I want the girls, it's $39.99. And then if you want to add all 20 characters, you can pay $50. Now, that does not, interestingly enough, does not add the story mode. So you would have to add story mode for $20. And some people, when you hear these numbers, you're like, you could end up spending more if you buy everything separately. Obviously, that isn't what Koei Tecmo wants you to do. They are doing this for the people that only play as 1 or 2 characters. Then if one of your characters happens to be free, you're winning big time. But even if so, even if you have to buy both of them, we're talking about $3.99 a piece. You pay that amount and you're good to go. And if you want that story mode, then slap on $20. But really, this is for a certain group of people. And like I said, and it's more for people that have never played Dead or Alive, or maybe they're just curious, or they always been curious, and then they just want to see how it feels, how it plays, what's the vibe, or whatever. You can not put any money into the game and just play the characters that you're offered. Check them out. You can even play against people online. You can still do the DOA quest. You can do the tutorials. You can do all of that stuff. And like I said, you can even play online, which to me, I think that's a beautiful thing. And like I said, this is totally taken from back, when they did this with Dead or Alive 5. I think this is important to mention along with the season pass. These are all just options. And of course, you can just buy the game like I did, and then you get all the characters, you get the story mode. You may not get those costumes in that season pass, but like I said, if you want just one, you can buy that one. It's not that hard, people. Don't make this harder than what it is. I hear that the lobby for Dead or Alive 6 is coming shortly, and it couldn't come sooner. I hope when they say shortly, I hope that means within the next couple of weeks. I hope that doesn't mean in the next month. That would kind of suck. Because Dead or Alive and I want to shout this out real quick because, as far as I know, Dead or Alive Ultimate, which came out on the original Xbox, was one of the first fighting games, one of the first competent fighting games to go online. Because if you get technical and shit, yeah, Weapon Lord did their thing back in the day, but who amongst anyone on YouTube, anybody or anybody in the world for that matter, actually played Weapon Lord online? That's right. Didn't think so. So yeah, Dead or Alive Ultimate was one of the first fighting games that you were able to play online competently, successfully. And I had fun with it. I had a great time with it. And let's see, Dead or Alive 4 came after that, I believe. And Dead or Alive 4's online, that was the one where they actually added an avatar and you could, pick between avatars to run around and communicate with other players while a fight was going on, as opposed to just sitting there watching, fights happening. You could also run around and interact with people. And super cute concept. Cool idea. Very Japanese. I was digging it. And again, ahead of its time. Just like with Dead or Alive Ultimate. And that's those are a few reasons why I do ride with Dead or Alive, because I understand that, like I said, there's some people that are offended. I'm not gonna even try to convince people that are offended to not be offended. That's a losing battle. But I feel like you can't take away that the things that it has accomplished. And like I said, the online aspect, it has totally accomplished. And it deserves its props for that. And it clearly does not get those. And like I said, now it's going to be remembered for $93 season pass, which is just ridiculous. But I hope that the lobby comes soon, and I hope that it is robust. I hope that they add some things and make it fun. From what I've played so far online, it seems like I'm having a little trouble finding people, but at the same time, I'm like, I still want to finish more of the story. I really love the concept of the DOA quest. I think that's an excellent tutorial and fun. I've heard like only one person really complain about it on YouTube, but in articles that I read and in YouTubers that I come across, most people have really praised the tutorial for the tutorial aspects of the DOA quest, because of how it incorporates, here, complete these challenges. Oh, you're having trouble with this? Okay, let's jump you back into the tutorial. This is how you do it. Okay, you got it? Okay, we're sending you back into DOA quest to now do it so you can complete that challenge. That is awesome. That is awesome. Salute to them again. Excellent concept. It makes something bland and boring like a tutorial system, it makes it fun and interesting. It gives you challenges, and these challenges, you unlock the coins or whatever, and then the coins, of course, you use to buy the costumes. So that's a win for them. Totally a win. I would say, as far as the rest of the online part, I loved the concept in, which this came back, it made its debut in Dead or Alive 5, was the whole going into the practice mode. You're practicing, and then, you can accept challenges, which to me, that was another awesome innovation that was done in Dead or Alive 5. I'm not sure if it's in some other fighting games, but the ones that I've played, I haven't seen that shit. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm totally not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But Dead or Alive 5 was the first game I played where I'm in there practicing, working moves out, and then a new challenger appears. And then, you say, oh, look at his connection. It's trash. Cancel. And then you go back to practicing some more. And then a new challenger appears. And then it says, oh, okay, his is decent. Okay, I'm going to, let's get into this. And then boom, you're fighting the guy. And then, you lose or whatever. Then you go back to practicing. I think that's an excellent concept. I spent a lot of time doing that in Dead or Alive 5 because I was able to just practice and then jump into fights. And then sometimes, I remember at least in Dead or Alive 5, it was showing the name of the people. From what I can see in this game, they don't show the name of the people, so you don't know until the fight's happening. Some people prefer it this way. I'm pretty sure there's people that don't. Right now, I'm just trying to get into the mix of it so I can get somewhat of a groove back in. So I'm not really tripping on fighting some of the same people. And I'm really just at the age I'm at now, I'm not really screaming and yelling and getting frustrated that, oh my God, look, I just lost 4 times in a row. I'm really just, hey, I just want to, keep playing so I can get better and better and stuff. But if I'm losing, that's not a big deal. Not at this point, it isn't. Now, the pattern system in Dead or Alive is pretty much, in order to unlock costumes, you have to collect the patterns for those costumes. As of right now, we cannot control that. It's random. And so you could be fighting in arcade or whatever, and you get a measly number for the pattern, 15 or, I think it's lower than that, but 15 out of 700 pieces. And the 15 goes to some random character that you don't play as, to a random costume. Yeah, it's kind of sucky. I'm not going to even pretend like that isn't. And they have made some strides to change this, and they changed the multiplier. So I believe it's I don't know if it's by 100 now, or if it's just by 10. Whoops, I don't know. Who knows? But the point is that they're working on changing this, and the last thing I heard was that they are actually going to change it to where it's not going to be to a random character, so that way you can get it for the characters you want. My thing is, okay, that's great. When is that happening? When is that happening? Because, yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. We'll be playing this game for a very long time. There could be a shit ton of costumes I get that won't even matter because it'll be for a character I don't care for. And I actually like a lot of Dead or Alive characters, but there is enough to where, yeah, there could be 6 or 7 characters I play as, and I may not get costumes for any of them. Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, first world problems, but still, man, I agree with the fans. This, they need to fix this. So the last bit is, should you purchase Dead or Alive 6? And I would say that varies. I mean, look, this is the bottom line. Dead or Alive fans, you should rejoice. Dead or Alive is back. It has new features. Graphics look sharper and crisper and run smoother than ever. It has enough differences to make it a solid entry without changing, too much and just making it, a disappointment. I would say for anyone that's let's say, because I'm gonna acknowledge these people, the people that maybe feel offended or awkward about playing Dead or Alive, but they're like, I actually like this game, I think it's fun. Those people, if they want to enter tournaments and whatnot and compete, I think they will be okay. I mean, only you will know that more for yourself than me, but I think you will be okay because the defaults are pretty safe. But for the people that flat out are disgusted by Dead or Alive and they feel like, Tecmo Koei has a long road ahead of them, those people are just going to be disappointed, because in their mind, Dead or Alive has never been a solid fighting game. It's always been about the cleavage. It's always been about the butts. It's always been about the costumes. To them, it was never a solid fighting game. And to a lot of people, it has already been there. It's already achieved what we wanted it to achieve. But for other people, like I said, they see this one image of Dead or Alive and it's typecasted for eternity. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, the creators are trying to break away, and at the same time they want to appease the fan base. At the same time, they want this to be a part of the fighting game community more. And, you know, there's just resistance coming from different angles and whatnot, and cultural differences. But I think the people that love Dead or Alive, they will be very pleased with it. The people that are conflicted and don't really like the fan service, I think if you're playing in front of a bunch of people, I think you will be okay. But I don't know, to me, if you're an adult, I mean, just if you like stuff, don't be ashamed to like it. That's it. There's nothing, and I own some weird stuff, you know, but then again, maybe I'm just a weird guy. I don't have a clue. I don't know. But if you like something, just don't be ashamed to like it. I mean, I don't know. But I guess there's always just going to be people that feel awkward about certain things. And does Dead or Alive do enough to, you know, make you feel more comfortable with yourself? Maybe, but probably not. That you have to work on yourself. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate you checking out this video. I know I can be a little pretentious in regard to this because I do love Dead or Alive. I really do. And yes, it's not about just the fan service. It really is about I have fun with the game. I have played it on almost every iteration that's been available online. I have played online. Actually, no, that is correct, because I've even played Dead or Alive Dimensions online and loved that as well. So yeah, you would count me as a fan of Dead or Alive. I'm not a savant or anything. I'm not manhandling people in the online modes, but you know, I have fun with it whenever a new one comes out, and I hope there's more to come. I hope that this doesn't disrupt things and all the controversy and stuff, but you know, what can you do about it, man? What can you do? Like I said, just enjoy what you enjoy and live life. Alright guys, it's been fun. I will see you in the next one. Next one? What's the next one? I don't know. Who cares? Anyways, see ya.